You didn't lose. You didn't fail. You didn't hit rock bottom. Nobody left you. Nothing catastrophic happened. You just stopped pushing. Your life became stable, predictable, comfortable. Bills paid, routine set, nothing broken. And that's exactly where everything started to fall apart. Because the most dangerous place a man can live is not in chaos. It's not in failure. It's not in struggle. It's in comfort. Because chaos forces you to move. Failure forces you to learn. Struggle forces you to grow. But comfort asks nothing from you. No urgency, no pressure, no reason to grow. And slowly, without pain, without warning, without a single dramatic moment, you begin to decay. Not physically, but mentally, in your ambition, in your edge, in your hunger. Because comfort doesn't destroy you loudly. There is no explosion, no breaking point, no alarm. It destroys you quietly. The way rust destroys iron, invisibly, consistently, until one day you reach for your strength and it crumbles in your hand. Chapter 1. The life that feels good, but isn't. Daniel walks into his office. Clean desk, stable job. Same routine, same chair, same coffee, same faces. His boss nods at him. Good work. Nothing wrong, nothing stressful. On the surface, everything looks fine. But nothing meaningful either. No challenge, no growth, no friction. Just the quiet hum of a life running on autopilot. Later that day, he sits in a meeting. Others are speaking, sharing ideas, taking risks, putting themselves forward. Daniel stays quiet. Not because he doesn't have ideas. He has them. He's thought about them. He knows they're good. But because speaking means risking judgment. It means being wrong in front of people. It means stepping outside the invisible wall he's built around himself. And it's easier to stay safe. No judgment, no pressure, no discomfort. And in that moment, he chooses comfort over growth. This is how it begins for most men, not with a dramatic failure, but with a quiet choice, repeated daily, to stay inside the safe zone. And each time you make that choice, the wall gets a little thicker. The silence becomes a little more natural, until one day staying small doesn't even feel like a choice anymore. It just feels like who you are. It's question for you. Where in your life are you staying silent, just to stay comfortable? Chapter 2. Your brain is not on your side. That night, Daniel walks past a gym. He pauses, looks inside through the glass. People training, sweating, struggling, pushing through something real. For a second, he considers going in. The thought is genuine. The desire is there. Then a thought appears, smooth, reasonable, completely convincing. You've had a long day. You deserve rest. So he walks away. This feels logical. It feels like self-awareness, like knowing your limits, like wisdom even. But it's not. Here is what's actually happening. Your brain is not designed to make you successful. It is designed to keep you alive. And to keep you alive, it avoids effort, avoids stress, avoids anything that feels like a threat. This is the hedonic adaptation principle. Your brain constantly recalibrates toward the path of least resistance. Every time you choose comfort, your brain registers it as the correct choice, not because it leads somewhere good, but because it feels safe right now. And comfort signals to the brain, you're safe, stay here. So every time you choose comfort over effort, your brain doesn't just allow it, it rewards it with a small hit of relief, a quiet chemical signal that says, good decision. And that reward trains you, slowly, invisibly, to keep choosing comfort, not because it's building your future, but because your brain has learned it feels better than the alternative. This is not weakness. This is biology working exactly as designed. The problem is, the world no longer rewards survival instincts. it rewards the men who override them. Chapter 3. The Missed Opportunity. A week later, Daniel gets an email. A chance, a bigger project, more responsibility, more visibility, something that could genuinely move his life forward. But it requires stepping up, more effort, more pressure, more exposure, the kind of thing where failure is visible. He hesitates. What if I mess it up? What if I'm not ready? Maybe when I feel more prepared. So he ignores it, closes the email, tells himself it wasn't the right time. Someone else takes the opportunity. They struggle with it. They make mistakes, but they grow. They get seen. They move forward. And life moves on. This is how comfort steals your future. Not dramatically, not violently, quietly, through a series of small no's. A meeting you stayed silent in. An email you didn't reply to. A risk you talked yourself out of. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live." The quiet life, safe and unchallenged, is the very thing he was warning against. Because a life spent avoiding discomfort is a life never fully lived. Not by destroying you, but by making you say again and again, "Not now," until not now becomes never. Chapter 4. Fake progress feels real. Daniel sits in a cafe, laptop open, coffee beside him. He's watching a video about success, taking notes, nodding, feeling something stirring in his chest. For a moment, he feels productive. He feels like a man going somewhere. But 2 hours later, nothing has changed. No action, no results, no step taken forward. Just information consumed and filed away. This is the most seductive trap of the modern age. You feel like you're growing because you're consuming books, podcasts, videos, courses. All of it feels like progress. All of it feels like preparation. But Seneca saw this pattern clearly 2,000 years ago. Nusquam est qui ubique est. He who is everywhere is nowhere. The man who endlessly prepares, endlessly consumes, endlessly plans, is standing still while believing he is moving. Real growth only happens in discomfort, in the attempt, not the preparation, in the mistake, not the study of mistakes, in the action, not the thought of action. Everything else is just distraction dressed up as discipline. Chapter 5. Comfort rewrites who you are. Daniel meets an old friend for coffee. They talk, catch up, laugh about old times. The friend asks, "Are you still working on your goals?" Daniel pauses, just a half second, but the friend notices. Yeah, slowly, but deep down, he knows the truth. He's not progressing. He's maintaining, keeping things the same, keeping things safe, keeping things comfortable. And over time, that becomes his identity. Not consciously, not intentionally, but identity is not built by what you say you are. It's built by what you repeatedly do. Epictetus taught, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. But Daniel has reversed this. He says he wants to grow, but every action votes for staying still, and the votes add up. Not someone who builds, but someone who waits. Someone who is always getting ready, always almost there, always one more comfortable day away from beginning. And the longer you stay comfortable, the more normal it feels, the less you question it, the harder it becomes to leave. Because leaving comfort requires becoming someone different, and that is the most uncomfortable thing of all. Are you becoming someone who acts or someone who delays? Chapter 6. Becoming someone different. Days pass. Daniel starts speaking more in meetings. Not perfectly, not with rehearsed confidence, but he speaks, even when his voice is slightly uncertain, even when he doesn't know how it will land. He takes small risks, makes mistakes, gets uncomfortable feedback, and sits with it instead of retreating. He goes back to that gym, struggles, fails the weight he expected to lift, shows up again the next day. Nothing dramatic, no sudden transformation visible in the mirror, but something deeper is changing. Beneath the surface, in the way he sees himself. He's no longer a man who avoids discomfort. He's a man who walks toward it. And that identity shift, that quiet internal reclassification of who he is, changes everything about how he moves through the world. Because identity is not a label. It is a direction. And Daniel has changed direction from someone who seeks comfort to someone who faces resistance. Final chapter. The man comfort can't control. Months later. Daniel walks into another meeting. Same room, same people, same stakes. This time, he speaks, clearly, directly, not perfectly, but without the weight of fear behind the words. People listen, not because he's suddenly the loudest voice in the room, but because there is something different in the way he carries himself. A steadiness, a presence, the quiet authority of a man who has stopped running from himself. Respect builds, not given, but earned. Later that day, he walks past the same gym, the same building, the same glass door, the same view inside. But this time, he doesn't hesitate. He doesn't negotiate with himself. He doesn't need a feeling to walk through the door. He walks in. Not because he feels like it, but because that's who he is now. A man who doesn't choose comfort when growth is available. A man who moves forward, even when it's hard, even when it's inconvenient, even when no one is watching. And that is the difference between the man he was and the man he became. Not motivation, not talent, not a perfect plan or a perfect moment, but the decision made quietly, repeatedly, without applause, to stop living comfortably. Comfort will always be there, waiting, easy, available at any moment. It will never run out. It will never stop offering itself to you. But every time you choose it over growth, you are paying a price. Your growth, your potential, your future, the version of yourself that could have existed, quietly deleted, one comfortable choice at a time. The Stoics called this the examined life, the daily question that separates the man who grows from the man who merely survives. What is this comfort costing me? Not in dramatic terms, not in catastrophic loss, but in the slow, invisible currency of unlived potential. So ask yourself honestly right now, what is your comfort costing you? Not tomorrow, not after the next video. Right now, because the cost is already being paid. The only question is whether you're willing to see it. Comment below, where are you choosing comfort instead of growth? And if you're ready to stop living comfortably, if you're done paying that price, subscribe to Unique Vision. Because this is not motivation. This is not inspiration that fades by tomorrow morning. This is a warning. And the men who hear it and act on it are the ones who become dangerous.